Hello, 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 my darling, and welcome to the ASM bar, where a delicious and relaxing drinking experience is our top priority for customers. Please do take a seat behind the bar there and just relax. Make yourself at home and be prepared for the most exquisite drinking experience with us this evening. Now, my name is Lottie and I'm going to be your server for this evening, and our spirit special for this evening is gin. So allow me to talk you through all things gin this evening, and together we can ensure that the drinks you choose are perfect for your needs. Okay? Now, first things first, why don't we choose a gin? Then we can find a tonic and then finish off with the perfect botanical garnish to complete the gin. Alright, great. Now, I have 7 gins for you to choose from this evening. The first is actually a gin liqueur, and this is the Edinburgh Gin Distillery Rhubarb and Ginger Gin Liqueur. And unlike a straightforward gin, this is only 20% alcohol. So if you're wanting something a little lighter, then this would be a good choice. As you can see, it is pink in colour from the fruitiness of the rhubarb, and the ginger just gives a really nice oriental flavour to the drink. Okay? Now, if you were to choose that gin, I would probably recommend that you pair it with the Fentimans Pink Rhubarb Tonic Water. And this is an exquisitely crafted natural botanical tonic water with rhubarb and herbal extracts. Okay? Now, moving on to the next gin. Now, this is quite an unusual choice, but this gin is a London dry gin, and this is called Afira. And I love this gin because it's so simple and tastes exactly how you would expect a dry gin to taste, but has an oriental spice to the flavour. So it's a little bit different, but if you like gin, then I know you'll like this. It is certainly delicious and definitely worth trying, and the spices used to craft this gin originate from India and the ancient spice route. Okay, now if you were wanting to choose the Afira gin, I would recommend that you pair that with the Fentimans Oriental Yuzu Tonic. This is flavoured with zesty yuzu and herbal extracts, okay, which will complement the spice of the gin really, really nicely. Alright, now, although I am offering suggestions on how to flavour each of our gins this evening, I would like to let you know that if you would want to choose a gin with a tonic that I perhaps haven't suggested to pair it with, then you are more than welcome to do so. Alright, I just want to ensure that the drink we create for you is perfect for you and no one else, okay? I'm simply offering my expertise and opinions. Okay. Now the next gin I have to show you is a personal favourite of mine, and it is the Blackfriars pomegranate and rose gin. And if you like floral, fruity flavours, this is definitely the gin for you. The rose adds a touch of floral flavours, which really works nicely with the gin. Okay. And if you were wanting to go with this one, I would recommend to pair it with the Merchant's Art Hibiscus Tonic. And this is just going to enhance the spirit by adding further floral, fruity notes to the rose and pomegranate gin, okay? And you end up with the most beautifully tasting and beautifully looking pink gin, okay, which is one of my favourites. Now, next up we have got an orange gin, okay, so another fruity gin, if that's what you enjoy. This is the Sip Smith Orange Zesty Gin. Okay, now this is slightly stronger than the pomegranate and rose gin, so if you're after something fruity yet still packs a punch, this is definitely the gin for you. Okay, and this is bright, refreshing and zesty with notes of citrus sweetness. Okay. And to pair this one, I would recommend the Fentimans Valencian Orange Tonic Water. And this is a natural botanical tonic water with orange and lemon thyme. So a really nice herbal yet fruity drink. Moving on to the next gin that we have. Next we have a non-flavoured gin, so this is just your straightforward gin, if that's what you prefer. This is the Martin Miller's gin, distilled in England yet blended with Icelandic water. Okay, and this is a gin of super quality and authentic character. The delicious, clean taste of Martin Miller's reformed dry gin will always refresh and invigorate. Okay. And with this one, I would recommend pairing it with the Merchant's Heart Pink Peppercorn Tonic Water. Now, of course, you can opt for a plain tonic water. However, I think this one with the notes of pink peppercorn work really, really nicely at bringing out the flavour of the gin. Okay, now another gin that we have to offer is the Warner's London Dry Gin, which again is a fairly straightforward gin. There's no fruit in there, however this is fragrant, rich and spiced, crafted with nature on Fool's Farm, distilled with our spring water. This classic London Dry Gin is elegantly balanced with juniper and spice. Okay, and again, actually, I would highly recommend that you pair this one with the Merchant's Heart Pink Peppercorn Tonic Water. I feel like this works beautifully with both the Warner's Gin and the Martin Miller's Gin as well. Okay, and finally, the last gin that I have to show you today, and actually my all-time favourite, is the Malfi gin, and this is a Sicilian pink grapefruit gin. Okay, this is just delicious. It's so refreshing. It's got a nice tart flavour coming through from the pink grapefruit, and it's just a delicious, strong gin to choose. Okay, and to pair, I would go for the pink grapefruit tonic water from Fentimans again. And this is the natural botanical tonic water with grapefruit and herbal extracts. So again, another beautiful pink gin for all of those pink gin lovers out there. Okay. Now, from all of those that I have shown you, are there any that stand out in particular to you? Of course, I can imagine that you will be staying here for more than just one drink, or at least I'd hope you would. So if there is more than one that you'd be interested in, then perhaps you can try each in turn. But for your first gin and tonic this evening, which gin would you like? Choice. And which tonic would you like to pair that with? Again, I'd like to reassure you that if you'd like to choose a tonic that isn't the tonic I recommended to pair that gin with, then please feel free to select a different one. Okay, great. That sounds like it's going to be a delicious mix. Now, before I craft the gin and tonic, we are going to choose a botanical garnish just to add a boost of flavour to the gin. Okay, so the first garnish I have to offer is this one, and this is allspice berries, which just add a touch of spice and fragrance to the gin. Really nice flavour enhancement. Next we have some pink peppercorns, which really does work well with gin, which is why so many gins contain peppercorn flavourings or tonics, for example, like the one I've shown you. So I feel like this is a really good choice for any gin that you will go for this evening. Okay. Then we have lavender flowers. So this is ideal for a floral gin. Don't get me wrong, this would also work really nicely in a citrus gin, but I think you'll find that it works best with those floral notes. We then have spiced citrus, okay, which would work really nicely with a citrus gin or a spiced gin, and any gin for that matter. I think this is definitely one that I would be happy to pair with any of the gins that I've mentioned today. And then finally we have coriander seeds. Okay, now this one is perhaps the least popular choice because it is quite a intense flavour. You have to have quite an acquired taste to enjoy this. So it's up to you. I think if you were to choose this one, you'd have to pair it with a gin carefully. For example, I wouldn't pair this with a fruity floral gin. I think this is best off in the spiced gins for a more sort of mature flavour. Okay, so out of all of those botanicals, which would you be most interested in having? Yeah, I think that's a good choice. Okay then, let's get started and put together your gin. Right, so here we have our gin glass, nice and big. And of course you could not have a gin and tonic without lots of ice. So I am just going to add as much ice as I can, because the icier the better. There is nothing worse than a lukewarm beverage, particularly when it comes to gin. It also keeps the carbonation of the tonic. The warmer a drink gets, the quicker it becomes flat, which is never ideal. So I'm just going to put a lot of ice in. Another thing about having a lot of ice in there is that it stays cooler for longer and the ice takes longer to melt. The fewer ice cubes you have in there, the quicker the ice returns to water and dilutes down the flavour of the drink, which you don't want to have at all. So I'm just going to keep topping this up. Let's do one more ice cube. Oh, 2 for luck. Right. Brilliant. Next is time to add in the gin. Okay. So all of these bottles are in double measures, by the way, which is ideal. I would never be caught dead ordering a single drink at a bar. I'm just going to pull that all over the ice, and then let's add the tonic of your choice. Where are we? There we go. into the glass. Okay, now I'm just going to let that sit while I prepare the botanical. So, one thing that you might be worried about is having little chunks of botanicals in the drink. That is not the case. I'm just going to pop the garnish into one of these pouches, which kind of reminds me of a tea bag, just to let the flavour infuse into the drink without leaving behind any bits. Overfill the pouch too much because we don't want the flavour of the gin to be compromised by that of the garnish. Okay, let's just get the gin. I'm going to dip the garnish in there and then just give the drink a nice gentle stir. The garnish now, and top it off with a nice straw. Okay, so there we are, my darling, your first gin and tonic for this evening. I really hope that you find this drink as delicious as it looks. Now please do sit back